We have a few other people, I believe, who will be joining us. So let's give it maybe 1 or 2 more minutes before we get started. All right, so we can get started. Again, welcome to our public administration webinar for here at the Tulane School of Professional Advancement. I am delighted that you are joining us today. And as we get started, it would be great if those who are joining us on the call could maybe put in the chat where they are joining us from, so that we just kind of have a sense of who's in our virtual room with us. So today, I am delighted to be able to speak with you. My name is Dr. Halima Leek Francis. I am the Director and Professor of Practice for the Public Administration Program here at Tulane University School of Professional Advancement. I came to Tulane a little over 3 years ago to lead the creation and launch of the public administration program, following a career in the field, in the sector, primarily in the nonprofit sector and working with philanthropy. I was very happy that our Dean, Suri Deitch, had laid the path for us to build this program from the ground up and to be able to speak directly to many of the issues and opportunities, not only facing our city of New Orleans, the Gulf Coast region, but the nation more broadly, and speak directly to some of the most pressing opportunities, I think, that we see in the civic sector. As I mentioned, I've worked in the field. I've also been more on the academic side as well. In addition to my role here, much of my research centers around questions of philanthropy, support for institutions such as historically Black colleges and universities, and universities more broadly speaking. So as you'll see when we talk through the program and as we share more information, many of our faculty, actually the majority of our faculty, have outstanding careers that as our students directly benefit from. So I also have joining me here today my colleague, Brian McNamara, and I will let Brian introduce himself and share his esteemed and wonderful background with you. So Brian.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Lee Francis, and welcome everybody to the webinar. It's so good to see you all today. My name is Brian McNamara. I'm a professor of practice with Tulane University. I came to Tulane about a year ago in May of 2021, so I've been here a little bit over a year. Prior to coming to Tulane, I served for 21 years on active duty with the United States Coast Guard in a variety of operational support, training, and legal roles. I hold a Juris Doctor from William & Mary Law School, a Master of Laws from Tulane University, and a Master of Public Administration from Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, where I'm also a doctoral candidate in public administration. I've lived mostly in New Orleans since 2008. I came here with the Coast Guard, and I'm super thrilled about the opportunity to help train the next generation of civic sector, public sector leaders to focus on the wicked problems that face our society, not just in the greater New Orleans area and in the Gulf Coast, but as Dr. Leek Francis mentioned, across the country for our particular program. So welcome to the program, and I'll turn it back to Dr. Leek Francis.
Wonderful. So next slide, please. So I'll continue by talking a bit about the School of Professional Advancement, or SOPA, as we call it here colloquially. We are one of the older divisions of the university. So Tulane University was founded in 1834, as you see here, as the Medical College of Louisiana. The School of Professional Development, School of Professional Advancement began offering classes in 1886. And really a core part of our work and a core part of our mission is to meet the needs and serve as a resource for adult learners. And that mission, that goal, that purpose has lasted for over 130 years here at Tulane. So I'll talk a bit about why SOPA, and I think this is important to really understand because it sheds light on the benefit of doing public administration work and studying the field of public administration in a space like SOPA. So oftentimes you will see that public administration programs are seated in a school of government or seated in even a business school. I've seen schools of public administration or public administration programs in various different spaces. And one reason why I think there's that diversity of representation is that public administration is a field that is one, applied and focused, and two, it speaks directly to preparing people to go into their career. So that is at the heart of what we do. We are preparing you to be public administrators, effective leaders, people who can successfully navigate the nuance, the complexity of the field. So SOPA is no better place than for us to, I think, ground a lot of those conversations, being that we focus on adult learners and career advancement and career development and career growth. So what you'll see across many of the programs in SOPA is that, one, we have a depth of online expertise. Our programs and our faculty are immediately relevant to what you see out in the field and out in the sector and in your various professions. We have wonderfully dedicated student support that really not only focuses on supporting you as you come in the door, but throughout your whole experience with us as a student. So if you're having challenges internal to our program and also at the school level, we do have a wonderful student support system in place to help guide you through some of those issues. Affordability and flexibility. You get the name and you get the prestige of a Tulane degree with the flexibility of being able to learn online and also at an affordable price. And as I mentioned, or as I just mentioned, the name of Tulane. I've heard from many students that regardless of where they work, regardless of where they live, an appreciation for the name and the quality of a Tulane education and how it follows them and supports them as they seek growth within their careers. Next slide, please. So because our program is online, I want to talk to you a bit about online learning at SOPA. We invest a lot of energy and a lot of resources in building quality, high quality, relevant, engaging online experiences for our students who are learners here. I will say that our entire public administration program, and as we talk about this a little bit later in the slides, you'll get to see how this shows up. But our public administration program, all of your coursework is done online. We do have an on-site residency that we'll share details about a little later. But online learning at SOPA is particularly important for us because it is how our program is designed and how our program was developed. I'll share a bit of insight when I joined here and we were developing our program, it was before the pandemic, and we were doing this in some cases as things were unfolding. But I share that to say that we were designed to be online, even pre realization that online learning was such a critical element and a critical factor. So our approach fully and wholeheartedly embraced online learning. What you see in online learning at SOPA, you get access to your learning materials, lecture notes, videos, assignments at any time. So it speaks to that flexibility. It's engaging and informative. You have online discussion boards, which allow you to collaborate with your classmates and build those relationships with your classmates. When we hosted our residency, we saw that even though all of our students had taken classes online, they had built this community with one another. And that is really important, not only for your learning and growth as a student, but also your work as a practitioner. These are your networks. These are the people that you will be working with throughout your career. These are the people who you can get opportunities and more knowledge and learning through. So this is where it starts, is oftentimes through these discussion boards and through these online interactions with your classmates and also your instructors. You get to connect with a diverse group of students and improve online communication and technical skills. Now, this point is really interesting to me, because as we are seeing in all of our professions, online communication and technical skills are really critical for people to be able to work in a quickly changing, adaptive work environment. And it's fast paced, and there are a lot of things that go along with that. But being able to connect and engage in an effective way online is a critical skill. And you get that by being immersed in this online learning experience. Also, with our courses, you have monthly, at least monthly, online meetings with classmates, faculty, and guest speakers. Many of our classes, you get those opportunities more frequently. We are certainly accessible and available through office hours. So that's in addition to those monthly online scheduled meetings. But this is what our online learning at SOPA looks like, generally and more broadly speaking. Next slide, please. So to speak more about our online learning and the work that we have done to build out our online framework and what we offer, you see here some data points that I want you to kind of focus on a little bit as we talk about what you will experience as a student and how this translates to your benefit. So I'll start with scale. You see here that we have over 13,000 students have completed over 31,000 hours of online coursework since 2018. So we have had a lot of students to successfully complete courses and engage with our content since 2018. And what this means is a few things. One, it goes back to that student support and that engagement and that connection that you build, but also we've gotten feedback from students that continuously help us to learn and develop and grow and improve the work that we do online. I mean, that is a critical part of technology. That is a critical part of online learning. Quality. So over 200 faculty have been trained in effective online instruction, and they've received multiple awards. So all of our faculty members are trained in online, not only online instruction, but the ones who are developing courses, they go through a rigorous course development process that helps them to build skill, quite frankly, in online teaching and learning. Because just as this is kind of a new frontier in many ways, for education, we want to ensure that our faculty members are well skilled and well equipped to be the best instructors that they can be and best resource for you as students. Depth. So you see here that we have 8 master's degrees, so close to 9 or 10 master's degrees, 19 graduate certificates, a host of post-baccalaureate certificates, 320 courses, all developed to be taught online. So we have a strong depth of coursework and content that our students can access through online experience and online learning. And this is across all of our SOPA programs. So that's really important to know, that as you think about why is SOPA a great school, particularly to pursue a Master of Public Administration degree or one of our graduate certificates within, this certainly plays a role in upholding the benefits of being a student at the School of Professional Advancement here at Tulane University. Next slide, please. So I'll shift gears a bit. I've shared with you information about SOPA and some of the benefits of being a student within the School of Professional Advancement. Now I want to talk a bit about our faculty within the public administration program. You see here a representation, I think, of what our faculty brings to the table and the work that they've done. So we have here industry experts who have stood at the forefront of leadership, change, innovation in public administration in the sector. And they have worked across fields. When we talk about public administration for our program, we talk about not only government at the local, federal, and state level, but we also are talking about our nonprofit organizations. We're talking about our philanthropic funders. We're also talking about our private businesses and corporations. And we take a cross-sector systems thinking approach to really addressing the issues that you see as a civic sector professional, as a public administrator. So who better than our faculty who've worked in the field, the majority of them who have worked in the field for well over 15, close to 20 years. We have former mayors, we have experts in innovation, diversity, equity, and inclusion experts. So our faculty is really representative of the diversity and the diversity of opportunity that you'll see working as a professional in public administration. This is of huge benefit to our students for those connections. So I talked about the community a little bit earlier in how our students connect with one another. Our faculty is a part of that equation as well. So many of our faculty members serve to give you perspective and insight on not only the skills you will need as qualified educators to teach in these areas, but also what the experiences are in the field and how you navigate and how you deal with those different things. So we're really proud of our faculty. Several of them that you see here, Dr. Francois Booker Drew and Mark Funkhauser, have won faculty awards for teaching within our program as well. So next, in talking about the benefits of our program, here's some of our partners who we work with. And our partnerships are really intentional and really important for our student experience. So within our partnerships, these are critical relationships that we have that serve not only to strengthen our work and our curriculum and our thought partnerships in our work as we are constantly developing our courses and constantly growing as a program, but also to open doors for students. So we've had students to be a part. We have a student ICMA chapter, which is the International City County Management Association. And we also have students who I believe they will be presenting at one of their upcoming conferences. So students who have deep engagement with those opportunities. The National League of Cities is a professional organization whereby students can they can be a part of and participate in their professional development training and receive a discount for their tuition. Same thing with New Leaders Council is another organization with whom we partner to offer opportunities and cross-learning as well with our students. And NASPA, which is one of the accreditors for public administration. For our residency, we had the president or the CEO of NASPA to come join us and speak at one of our panel discussions. So our partnerships are really important to making sure that our program offers, again, those opportunities for students to grow and flourish in their careers. Next slide. So as we talk about the details of our program, I'm going to hand it off to Professor McNamara to share his insights and his experience, as well as information about how our program is structured and give more depth to your understanding about what you will experience as a student. So Brian.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Lee Francis. So I'm maybe biased, but I'm a big fan of Master of Public Administration programs. When I was on active duty with the U.S. Coast Guard, I completed an MPA myself very early in my career, and that experience really changed the way and gave me a great framework to view the rest of my work, and was quite instrumental to my success while I was with the federal government. So our MPA program is intended to help grow future public, private, civil society leaders who can work across sectors and across boundaries to help solve the most wicked problems. And I mentioned the Gulf Coast earlier. I mentioned national problems. I will also offer that we have a student body truly is international, as we already have one student who lives in Mexico. And so the skills that you would learn from this particular program translate beyond just state and national boundaries, but can be used to apply yourself to solve international problems. So our program is structured to have 12 courses total. It's a 36 credit program plus a required residency. Of those 12 courses, you have 7 core courses, including an experiential capstone, and then the opportunity to take 5 free electives. And as I'll talk about in just a moment, you can choose to take 4 of those 5 electives in one category, one concentration, in order to obtain a concentration in a particular subject matter area. Next slide, please. One of the great things about our program is the flexibility and accessibility. We've designed our program to be inclusive of background, life experience, and life stage. Our student body, as I mentioned, comes from around the country and in Mexico. And we have students ranging from the more traditional, coming straight to us right out of their undergraduate experience, to folks who are mid-career, to folks who are later on in life looking to build new skills and apply them in their workplace. So we really do have a wide variety of backgrounds for folks who come and join our particular student body. So our courses focus on applied practice in real world context, which I would offer to you in some ways. Learning how to apply the theory can be more challenging and more academically enriching than simply learning about the theory. And so when you hear us say we're training you for applied situations, that does not mean that we are ignoring theory, but rather we're learning about theory and then teaching you how to apply it in real world context. So despite the flexibility, there is no trade-off between flexibility and accessibility on the one hand and academic rigor on the other. This truly is an academic powerhouse of a program befitting a Tulane name. Next slide, please. I mentioned earlier 7 core courses. That includes a career-focused capstone. Our other core courses, the 6 main core courses, are focused on subjects that you would find in typical MPA programs around the country, but geared towards an applied practice and with a focus on community engagement and social equity. So for example, my teaching practice focuses on public policy foundations. We have a couple of data focused courses to help you learn how to manage data, to sense the environment for your organization, as well as make internal organizational decisions based on data. We have a course on cross-sector collaboration that brings the best of academic research and applied into that particular course. And so I find that all of these courses taken together will prepare you for a career that focuses on cross-sector collaboration and community engagement. We have optional concentrations, and these are optional. You do not have to take a concentration, although most of our students do take one. These are in nonprofit and strategic philanthropy management, K through 12 educational leadership, economic development, environment, and emergency management. And so if you are so inclined to pursue a concentration in this area or pursue a future career in this area, these concentrations can make sense, not just because they give you access to the content, but these are taught primarily by practitioners with advanced degrees who practice in the field. And so you not only do you get their knowledge, but you also can tap into their personal and professional networks to help advance your career. Next slide, please. We have experiential opportunities built into this particular program. We have applied research in the capstone course, which is the final core course. This is an opportunity for you to take everything you've learned in the rest of the core courses and then apply that in a real world setting with a host organization. And so as a practical matter, what this is this is an opportunity for you to serve as a consultant and along the way be coached by the faculty member in the capstone course, give and receive feedback from your peers in the capstone course on your project and on their projects. And this is all to build up to an actual real world presentation to your host organization on how they can make an organizational or policy change to enhance their ability to make an impact in the world. We do have a required internship for students who don't have experience in the field. So if you don't have experience in the field, then we'll work to set your capstone experience up as an internship focused rather than a consulting focused opportunity. And we do have a required residency in New Orleans. Next slide, please. All right, so speaking about that residency, we just hosted our first residency. Dr. Leek Francis mentioned that she came here about 3 years ago to launch the program. This year coming up is going to be our third full academic year of the program. Due to COVID restrictions in the summer of 2021, we were not able to hold the residency, so we just had our inaugural residency, and it was a wonderful experience. What you can see here is one of our site visit during the residency out to a local institution in the New Orleans area called Cafe Reconcile. This is a nonprofit entity that focuses on both workforce development and individual personal life skill development in a hospitality setting. And so our students really enjoyed the opportunity to go out, have lunch at Cafe Reconcile. And you can see we received a talk from the executive director of Cafe Reconcile about their mission, their background, and how they achieved their successes. Next slide. One of the strengths of our program is that with our faculty and our connections, we can draw from a variety of sectors to help enhance your student experience. And one of the presentations during the residency was from the local Coast Guard sector. And so you can see all the way on the right, Captain Kelly Denning is the sector commander for Coast Guard Sector New Orleans, brought some of her senior leaders from her team over to talk to our students about not just Coast Guard missions, but how the Coast Guard serves some of the challenges that they face when they implement public policy from the national level at the street level here in the regional area for New Orleans. And so that was a fascinating discussion for our students and took a lot out from that. In addition, they had the opportunity to make connections with these individual Coast Guard officers and members that they can use for the future. Next slide, please. In addition to the educational components, the panel discussions, the site visit, and the agency visits, we had time for social activities during the residency. And what you see here is our social activity for the official launch of our student chapter of the International City County Management Association. As Dr. Leek Francis mentioned, we found that during the residency, despite the fact that we are an online program, our students came to the residency and we can tell that they had already established their networks and had already connected. And so we had at our residency a student body ranging from folks who were in their last semester in the program all the way to folks who hadn't even started their classes yet. And across the board, they had great connections and great social interaction during the residency. Next slide, please. So why is an MPA valuable to you? The fact is, if you are interested in making a difference in the world, if you're interested in learning how to manage not just money, but to manage values and carry out public policies to advance public value, whether you're in the private sector, public sector, or nonprofit civil society, an MPA degree will give you the skills and the perspective to be able to work across sectors to carry out the public good. There is projected growth over the next several years in MPA related jobs. And the types of opportunities that you can have with an MPA are nearly endless. Folks with an MPA can work in everything from local government to local nonprofits, all the way up to state, federal government, even in international policy spaces. So some of the folks I worked with in international maritime law and international maritime policy had training not just in law, but also in public administration. All right, next slide, please. And Michael, this should answer your question. To circle back to the stackable graduate certificates. So our public administration program offers a Master of Public Administration degree and several opportunities for stackable graduate certificates. If these look familiar, these are the same as our concentrations in the MPA program. And so you are able to, if you don't wish to pursue the full MPA, you can focus on just a particular concentration in order to receive a graduate certificate. These are stackable, which is to say, we've had some students who came and said, we just want to pursue the certificate, but they had such a great experience with the courses in their certificate that they stacked them into the full MPA program and then went on to take the core courses to begin pursuing the full MPA degree. And so these are stackable in the sense that you can begin your studies with a graduate certificate and then apply towards an MPA if you decide to pursue the full MPA. And as with the MPA courses for the certificates, you'll be in with MPA students in those courses, and that brings along with it all of the same benefits of connections with faculty who are practitioners and leaders in their field. Next slide, please. We also have the opportunity to award credit for prior learning. And what that means is we can accept a total of up to 6 credits based on prior learning, on-the-job experience, work experience, military training. And this is accomplished through a portfolio assessment. And so if you look at our course catalog and you're thinking to yourself, I've done what that course says, I have experience with that particular course's learning objectives, you can sign up for a guided, structured process that allows you to submit a portfolio that will be evaluated to see if you can earn credit for that portfolio in lieu of attending that particular course. And so this is a process that does require, it does require that you pay a fee for going through this process. Obviously that fee is much less than the fee for a 3-credit course, but it does require you to put a package together to demonstrate that you already have met the learning objectives in lieu of taking a particular course. So we do have folks who have applied for this particular process, and it is a way based on your experience that you can reduce both the cost and the total credit load for completing the MPA. Next slide. All right, so student support and success. Dr. Leek Francis mentioned earlier just how beneficial it is to take an MPA within a School of Professional Advancement construct, because the field of public administration naturally aligns well with a continuing studies professional advancement school. I would also offer that the School of Professional Advancement has a robust student support and success program that you can leverage throughout your experiences in the program. We have a dedicated academic advisor for each School of Professional Advancement student. In addition, of course, we've already talked about our outstanding faculty with industry experience, networks of program peers, not just in the public administration program, but in other programs from the School of Professional Advancement, and a career advisor that we will have on staff to help you work through your thoughts on how to apply your degree for a future career. And all of this is great, but I think the most important takeaway from this slide is that within the School of Professional Advancement, Dr. Leek Francis, all of the advisors associated with our program, and our number one focus is to set you up to give you the best possible chance for success. We are extremely student focused in the School of Professional Advancement. Having having attended doctoral courses at other universities, Dr. Lee Francis mentioned that PA programs can be in various different schools. And one other benefit of this being in a SOPA model is that a School of Professional Advancement model is that our full-time faculty are not distracted by a research requirement. So in other words, I teach and I provide service to the university. Those are my two focus areas. And so that gives me the flexibility to be accessible and responsive to you as you're going through the program. Oftentimes I find that I can meet with students on less than 24 hours notice to help them through questions with their courses or to help answer questions for them about the broader program or career goals. So it's not on the slide, but the biggest thing that I would pass to you about this slide is we're here to help you succeed. Next slide, please. And so with that, I'll turn it back to Dr. Lee Francis to talk about a little bit more details about the administration of the program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian. So before I get into that, I'm putting in the chat a link to the page where the web page where we have information for credit for prior learning, because that's a part of this conversation. And if you don't mind, can you pull up the link that has the Ann or Brian, the link that has details on tuition discounts and scholarships, and put that in the chat also. Thank you. So as I talk about affordability overarching or overall, our tuition point is $1,158 per credit hour, and it's a 36 credit hour program. So that totals roughly in the neighborhood of $40,000 before fees and those types of things. So comparatively speaking, with schools of the status, I would say, of Tulane, our tuition is affordable. We do also offer financial aid, and there are financial aid resources to help you pay for educational costs. Those resources are available to students who meet a threshold of part-time and full-time to full-time enrollment largely. So we do have resources and support that will help you navigate the requirements of some of the financial aid resources that are available to you. We have listed here in the blue section or the right of the page, some of the different types of aid that we offer. So along with some of the federal grants and loans, we have a yellow ribbon program. We have a 20% tuition discount for active duty military veterans, public safety personnel. If you graduated from a minority serving institution, some of the partnerships I mentioned earlier, such as New Leaders Council and National League of Cities, there are discount opportunities there as well. The takeaway here is that even though, and even along with our tuition being relatively affordable, we recognize that that this is an investment, and many students, they come to us with diverse backgrounds, diverse capacity and resources at their disposal. So we want to do as much as we can to make sure that this is an affordable experience and minimize debt that you'll incur achieving and investing in your Master of Public Administration or any certificate programs that you enroll in with us. Next slide, please. So getting to our application process, it's pretty straightforward. And it's a process that is designed to really give us insight into a few things. We want to understand your motivation. So we want to understand why this is of interest to you. We have essay questions in the application where you will address things such as, what do you see as being the most pressing issue in public administration? We also want to understand the writing skill that you come to the program with. In all of our classes, there's a depth, a level of writing that is needed, and certainly that is a skill development area for public administrators that is critically important. So it's important to put your best foot forward in the application, in those writing opportunities where you share with us why you're motivated to be a part of this program, what your interests are, what you see as being the most pressing issues within the field. There's a graduate application fee, documentation and ID that we ask for, transcripts, and sending us transcripts from other educational institutions that you have attended. And we review all of those things comprehensively to determine your role or how you might fit in this program as a student. The GRE is not required. We also do not require the GMAT or any other form of standardized testing. It's not necessarily a predictor for us of success in the program. So it's really straightforward. I've had conversations with students who are interested in the program, and they've literally gotten off the phone with me in a few days, been able to get their applications in. So it's really an application process that is straightforward. So I really encourage you, as you consider this program, to apply early, apply soon. If this is something that's the right fit for you. We do have applications that are, we review them on a rolling basis, and we are able to get back to you with a decision on admission relatively quickly after you apply to the program. In the next slide, we have our application deadlines. So we have here students who enroll in courses by the dates listed here would be eligible for a tuition discount or an enrollment scholarship of $500 for graduate courses. So again, time is of the essence, and it does offer you additional opportunities. We do have enrollment 3 times a year, not only fall and spring, but also summer. So that's another benefit of our program, is that you are able to enroll in our program any term that we have available. So we have 3 terms where students can enroll in the program. So here are the deadlines for fall, August 1. So you still have a lot of time to get your application in for August, spring, January 1, and for summer, May 1. So keep these dates in mind as you're planning and as you're thinking about what you would like to do moving forward. I will say it's great, and it's a good thing even if you know you don't want to start until summer or spring, go ahead and get your application in to make sure that we don't fill up with space and those kinds of things, and then we can plan for courses for those coming terms and those coming semesters. So that's really important. With that, I'll pause for a second and ask Brian if there's anything that he would like to add that we haven't covered yet in this conversation.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee Francis. I think the big thing is just, if you have any questions about the program, feel free to reach out to me. My email is right there. And I'll just drive home the point again that if the benefit of the Tulane program is that we are here to best set you up for success. That's what we do. And so that's, I think, the ultimate competitive advantage of choosing our program to complete your graduate public administration studies. And I'll turn it back to Dr. Lee Francis.
Yes, thank you so much. So with that, I'll open the floor for questions for a few minutes. I think we have, I don't know how much time we have left, but if there are any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or come off mute and let us know any questions that you might have.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, I'm Rosalie, by the way. I live in New Haven, Connecticut. So I know you guys went over the residency requirement. And I had a question. It's kind of like, I guess only applies to me, I guess, but I just graduated undergrad, and I have a full-time job, but it's a remote job. But the job is 2 years. So like, how soon, like within the program, do you have to do the residency? Or like, is there like a specific timeline? Like, can you work at your own pace? Yeah.
That is a great question. So, Brian, did you want to take that or you want me to take it?
Sure, you can go ahead and take it, and
Okay.
I'll fill in any
You'll
details.
fill in anything that I leave. You can do the residency at any point. So even as Brian mentioned earlier, we have students who have not started taking classes yet. They've applied to the program, they've been admitted. They know that they are going to start at some point soon, and they decided to do the residency. And honestly, we've learned and we've heard from those students that that was a really great approach for them, because it helped them to chart their path forward and decide what classes they're going to take first. So I do think that doing the residency as soon as you can in the program is ideal, but you can certainly benefit from it at any point throughout the program. So we're really flexible with that, with regards to when you do the residency. I also think I heard you ask about pacing of coursework. You can take courses at any pace that you would like to. The majority of our students take at least 2 classes a term. Those are our part-time students. We also have students who are full-time and they take 9 credit hours or 3 classes a term as well. If you want to take upwards of 4 classes or 12 credit hours, you would need special approval for that, because that is quite a heavy course load for graduate study. And given that most of our students are working, there's a lot of challenges with navigating that. So there are students who they may need to take 1 course a term, and that is certainly fine, just as long as you keep going and keep pushing forward through the program. So there's flexibility in you taking courses at the pace you need to.
Great, thanks. And if I could offer, to answer your question with a little bit more detail, we offer the residency once per year. And so the plan is to do it once per year. This one we just held was in June. We're in discussions right now on whether to keep it in June or to push it more towards the early fall, but we are going to be offering it once per year. And it's about 2.5 days in length. So the one we just held, it began on a Thursday morning and lasted until Sunday at lunch. And so folks would fly in on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and they were able to fly out Saturday afternoon from New Orleans. So we try to minimize the impact that it would have on your personal and professional lives. Right, exactly. It would only be a few days. And if you have a situation where you need to get to the residency, we certainly can reach out to your employer and help explain what the purpose of it is, to help make it simpler for you and less less of an emotional burden to get off of work to come down and see us. But it is we do plan that it's going to be a 2.5 day experience. And so the word residency doesn't mean that it's extremely long. It's an opportunity for you to come in and meet your peers, meet your faculty, have some experiences that you can't get in the online environment, and deepen those connections that you have with the folks in the program. But we do plan for it to be a 2.5 day experience, again, moving forward. And then Michael, you asked about what are the length of the classes. We follow the normal semester schedule. And so we have a fall, spring, and summer semester. We expect that most of our courses are going to be offered each semester, but not, so in any given 3-semester stretch, you would have an opportunity to take all or nearly all of the courses. So all of our core courses would be offered at least 2 out of 3 semesters. And so you'd have the opportunity to move quickly or as methodically through the program as you'd like. But the courses follow the semester schedule. And so each course is designed to be 12 modules long. Generally speaking, 1 module equals 1 week, but in the fall and spring semesters with holidays, some modules will be spread out over a 2-week period, but they're designed to be, every course is designed to be 12 modules long, which roughly aligns with about a week, but we do follow the semester schedule. Great. Any other questions?
Okay. Well, let's Seeing and hearing no other questions. Our contact information is here on the slide. So if you'd like to email or call myself or Professor McNamara, you can certainly reach out to us. Also follow us on social media. So we have our Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, various social media platforms where you can follow SOPA and the public administration program as well. I'll say that being a part of the social media space is a lot of fun. You get to see sometimes from our students what they have experienced in the program. So they tag us in their posts and in their achievements and their celebrations. So I encourage you to follow us there as well. So with that, thank you for the time that you've spent with us. And I certainly look forward and hope to receiving your application soon, or also any questions that you might have that come up as you continue to think about moving forward and working with us. Thank you so much.